Welcome everybody to another TradiePad special event, and I'm here joined by Karen Stack from Accounts All Sorted. Hello Karen.
Hi Clinton, how are you today?
I'm fantastically well. A little bit chilly because it is a little bit chilly here in Sydney at the moment. Apart from that, good as gold. How are you?
Yeah, good. It is a little bit chilly in Sydney today, but yeah, it's good as gold.
Comes with the territory at this time of year because we are having a bit of a discussion about end of financial year. So it is July, and we've just wrapped up another exciting financial year. But before we get into that, I'd love to have a little bit of a talk about your business and what you do. So tell us a little bit about Accounts All Sorted.
Accounts All Sorted, we're a bookkeeping practice located in the hills. We work with lots of different clients across all industries. We specialise with tradies. We love working with tradie clients, and we love technology. We have a team of 10, so we have junior bookkeepers right through to BAS agents and tax agents. So we love working with small business.
And we have quite a few mutual clients together, and we've got quite a good relationship because the stuff that we do with TradiePad really complements the stuff that you're doing with Accounts All Sorted.
Absolutely, and we love to actually refer TradiePad to our clients that are actually looking for that job or project management type software so that they can integrate it into Xero.
That's a good segue to talk about some of the tips for the new financial year, because we've just wrapped up the end of financial year for 2023, and it's always a bit of a frantic time leading up to the end of the financial year. Everyone trying to get all their things sorted out and in line and want to start the new financial year off on the right foot. Any suggestions for what people can be doing at this time of year to prepare themselves for the financial year ahead?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, Clint. I like to start the new financial year on the right foot. So what we would say to our clients is that we would recommend that they look at the previous year, have a look at their profit and loss and their balance sheet, have a chat to their accountant, and just have a look at their income and their expenses and see if they want to make any adjustments, going forward into the new year. Then I'd probably suggest that they set their goals. So we like to set SMART goals. So we look at, being specific. Are they specific for the business? Are they measurable, achievable, and are they relevant and timely? I think after they set their goals, it's actually a really good opportunity to have a look at a budget. So have a look at what happened the previous year, have your goals set for this year, and then start to look at a budget so that you can have a look at the income and expenses, and look at your profit margins as well. Because often businesses that are profitable may actually have issues with cash flow, and that could actually come back to their profit margins. So it's all encompassing, and we just like to get our clients to start to think about what's going to happen in the next year. And also what we always love talking to them about is cloud software. So you've got to have your tech stack in order, and what does that look like? So a lot of clients would say to us, oh, we do it this way because that's the way we've always done it. But they don't realize they could use, Dext or EasyBills or HubDoc or something like that to actually get the information to us quicker, rather than dropping it at my front door in a plastic bag, which often happens.
You got to love those shoebox clients.
I love the shoebox clients and the Woolies bags clients.
Some excellent tips there. I want to unpack two of them. The first one being around the goals, setting the goals and setting the budget. I think that's an awesome tip, and that's something that we started doing in TradiePad a number of years ago, and it made such a massive difference to the traction that we were getting in the business and having some direction on what we wanted to achieve. I think so many business owners just keep doing the same thing day in and day out, and they're really just working for a wage. But when you start to set some goals on what you want to achieve for the year, and then break that down into quarters and have some targets of things that you want to achieve and have a budget, it makes such a massive difference to having some direction on where you're headed over the next 90 days and where you're headed for the next 12 months, and give you some guidelines on have we been successful.
That's right. So budgets are really important. And I also think with the budgets is the cash flow projections as well, like looking forward, like you said. looking at what the next 90 days looks like, the next 6 months, that kind of thing. Because a lot of businesses aren't looking ahead, they're just working in the time, they're just working in the day, they're going from job to job. And they're so busy doing that they're not setting targets and budgets within their business so they can actually grow their business.
Yeah, and that's why we got into business in the first place. A lot of people do it for lifestyle and to have a bit of control over their life, but it's a business at the end of the day. We're making money. The whole goal is to make money. So why not maximize that? Not work our absolute heart out for not a lot of money. We want to get some good returns. So I think that's really, really critical. And then the other piece there is people doing it themselves, and having a team of people there to work with them. So with the goal setting and the budget setting, is that something that you get involved in with your clients in providing a bit of help?
Yeah, well, absolutely. If that's what they would like, we do. So we tailor solutions to meet our clients' requirements. So, we can help them with budgeting and goal setting. They often have business coaches, accountants, other people in their kind of group of trusted people that they work with. And if that's the case, we work with them as well. So we love having a holistic approach to our clients' business. And we'll just fit in wherever we need to fit in with them. So to make them, hopefully achieve their goals and have a successful business.
Excellent. It's all about building the network of people around you. That's what I firmly believe, because that's what we've done with TradiePad, of having all of these amazing advisors, amazing people to assist with growing the business, because I don't know how to do it all. I'm not a specialist in all this stuff. It's getting the people around you that can help you with it.
And the thing I find about our tradie clients is they always come to us feeling a little bit deflated because they don't understand the financials. But, I always say to them, whilst they have to have an understanding of how their business is performing, we can help them with that. And I couldn't be a plumber, or I couldn't be an electrician. So if we all do what we do best, and then, just tap into, trusted partners, then I think there's no reason why our business can't succeed.
Absolutely. So that's a great segue to talk about the next piece you mentioned there, which was the cloud software, the technology that people are using in their business. I have to say we've seen a huge difference over the last, I'd say, 5 years of people have started to embrace a lot more technology than they did back then. There's a lot less of the pen and paper type clients. People are doing something at least. They might have a calendar system, or they might be using Dext or HubDoc, but they haven't really kind of got a whole plan around all the technology they're going to use to run their financials and run their operations and kind of the whole technology perspective. But I think you'll agree with me that once you've got the right tools in place, the technology can give you so much more data and so much more visibility over your business and start to allow you to measure your business with all the reporting and your budgets and your goals and stuff that you want to achieve. So what have you seen? What are you seeing with people using technology in their business these days?
Exactly what you're saying, Clint. So I think they kind of dip their toes in the water with, like a calendar or a HubDoc or a Dex type thing. And then they're looking for the next thing. So I think to start with, what I find with our clients, we don't want to overwhelm them like too much technology. A lot of our clients are still old school in many ways. So just introducing them to Dext and HubDocs and Xero is a big advancement for them. So once they're comfortable with that, then they start asking us questions like, oh, well, I want to know how profitable I am on that job. I've got, a team of 10. How am I going to schedule them? I don't know where they are. Like, I want a job that, if a job comes up somewhere, I want to put the closest team member on there. So they start to ask those sorts of questions, and then we can then start to move into the next phase of, having a chat with TradiePad to see, to line up a time to have a chat to the client to see what the best product is for them. It's too hard for us to stay across all of those other products. That's why we leave it to the experts at TradiePad.
Excellent, thank you. But you're spot on there. We work with a whole bunch of different software products, and they're all great systems. A lot of people say, what's your favourite? What's the best one that's out there? But there's no favourite and there's no best one. It's the right one for the business. we see a lot of people coming to us that have already chosen something for whatever reason. Their mate's using it, or someone at the pub told them about it, or their accountant or their bookkeeper had told them about it, whatever it is. And it might be working for some parts, but it may not be working for other parts. So we're definitely seeing a big increase in people coming to us with something and asking the question of, is it the right tool for me? Have I got it set up the right way? Am I using it to its potential? So that's super common, and that's not something to be worried about or be afraid of. You know, that's exactly one of the services that we provide, of helping do a discovery session on that particular system and make sure it is the right one, make sure it is set up the right way, make sure they are using it to the potential. So we're kind of seeing people at all ranges now, of people that are absolutely at the starting blocks of still using a diary and job cards, through to people that are on systems but just need a bit of help with it. So either way, you know, wherever you are on the technology journey, getting a bit of guidance with how you're using your systems or what you're using goes a really, really long way.
I think so. And look, there's no one software that fits all. And I think people, they think that they're on Xero, so they have the software, but Xero is just an accounting software. It's just one piece of the puzzle. And, you know, the job management and, you know, project management type softwares, that just adds to that kind of big picture for them and completes their puzzle. But we're also finding a lot of issues with integration. So like you said, Clint, someone will go off and set up, you know, one of the Tradie service mates, whatever they think that the boys at the pub said to use. And we find that it hasn't been mapped correctly. It's not integrated correctly. I mean, last week we had a client that we had to clean up their files because they were receiving money in ServiceMate, receiving money in Xero, so everything was duplicated. So they had no idea about what they were doing. They, you know, so they couldn't understand how it was happening, and it must be Xero. It never happened, you know, when we're on MYB, but you know, they just don't understand it. So training is really important on these programs to make sure that everybody is familiar with how to use it, and that it's mapped correctly. If they haven't come to someone like you guys, we're always fixing, you know, Square and ServiceMate and Stripe and those types of issues, because people have tried to do it themselves.
And there's nothing wrong with it. We see it all day, every day, especially with things like ServiceMate, because it's so easy to get started. It's really easy to sign up. It's really easy to create a job. It's really easy to put a customer in and do the basics. But it's that back-end configuration and the planning around our workflows and what goes where and where do we need it going into the accounting system that makes the big difference. So getting started is fantastic. It's just that next step of getting it set up properly, and training. Training is critical, absolutely critical with this stuff.
It is. And then once it's set up, it all should be seamless. So, you know, then it gives them a whole lot more visibility about how their business is tracking, how the individual jobs are tracking, where their staff are, you know, how many hours their staff are working. You know, I think it gives them a lot more once it's all set up properly.
With clients of yours that have a system set up and it is giving them that data and that visibility, what are you seeing happens with their business when that's all working properly?
Oh, when it's working properly, I see their businesses grow because they've just got, you know, a whole lot more visibility on what their day looks like. I think a lot of them are growing. Look, I think at the moment there is a hard time coming in construction. I think, you know, some of our small sole traders and small companies have been affected by some of the larger companies, you know, going bankrupt and things like that. And you know, I think too, what's really cool with this kind of software is we can actually talk to our clients about their mix. So we can look at residential and commercial. We can kind of really have a look at that type of reporting. And, you know, sometimes they think it's great to be on commercial jobs, which is probably more profitable, but, you know, because they go for such a long time, it impacts their cash flow because they're not getting paid quick enough. So, you know, then we can look at the reports from the software and then go, well, okay, well, this is what's happening in residential. Maybe we need to do a little bit more residential. Maybe we need to rejig the mix. So I think it's great. It's actually really good to have a great app stack that seamlessly works, and I think that it makes them better business people.
Yeah, absolutely. And having that data and visibility on the business is amazing. It's like if but when you have a system set up and it's giving you that information, it's like your eyes have opened up and you can actually see real information instead of just operating on gut feel like we always have. And I know from personal experience, we'd run plumbing projects on new homes that were a fixed price project, and you'd think everything was going okay. You have a bit of a gut feeling that, oh yeah, I think we're on track, I think the time's okay, we're on kind of the timeline budget, but you've got no real data there of how many hours have we estimated versus how many have we actually logged, what's our material costs. So you're flying blind essentially, and when you get the data in front of you and you can run those reports, it's like, oh, wow, it's a whole new world, and it gives you a whole new perspective on the business.
It does. And a lot of them still kind of have that gut feeling, but they've just got to learn to trust the software.
So with business owners wearing so many different hats in their business, and all the different things that people have to do throughout their day, from obviously if you're on the tools and you're actually doing the work through to running the business side of things and the admin and all of that, how can tradies use their time more efficiently, do you think?
Well, I think that, the pitfalls of wearing too many hats is that the business owners are being pulled in so many different directions. So they don't actually get the opportunity to do everything properly because they're just being pulled from one direction to another. So I think if they can actually work out which activities generate income for them and leverage the technology, the software, and then work out what activities don't actually bring them income. So like bookkeeping, for instance, doesn't bring them income, but it's very important to their business, because if it's not accurate, then they're not going to be able to they're not going to be able to actually run accurate reports to see how their business is performing, but they're also not going to be able to keep up with ATO compliance.
So how can they solve that?
Well, I think they can solve it like by, investing in technology. I think that's a given these days. It's not going away anywhere. We've just got ChatGPT now, so they can even write their blogs, if that's what they want to do with their marketing. But I think they also need to then look at what they can outsource. So, maybe it's, a VA, maybe they have a lot of phone calls. I know for one of our clients, he came to us and he needed some help with just confirming appointments. And we were like, oh, well, we don't really do this, but I'm sure we can make it work. And so we did. So we got a phone number and, we logged into his calendar, and then it came through his website, and then we would just confirm by text message. So that saved him. And then we would actually then reconfirm the day, just saying, oh, we'll be there at 1:00 today or whatever. So we were able to help him by actually not having to do all those messages himself.
Something so simple that has so many benefits to it, in him not having to do it himself, so that's saving him time. People actually remembering that the appointment's happening, so them being there and reducing the chance of a no-show, so that's saving him time. And it's better customer service.
It was a better customer service. And then after it, we then would send another text and thank them, and then put in the report and, those sorts of things that he wanted. So just by talking to our clients, we can actually find areas that we can help them. Okay, we're bookkeeping, but that he didn't really have enough VA type work, but that small thing that we could do for him just saved him lots of time. So I think it's just trying to identify in your business what you can do, what you're good at, and what generates your income. And then I think the rest of you need to just have a look at what you can actually outsource. What can other people do to help you?
A really common thing that we see is a client will come to us and they have their partner doing the books for them, working in the business and doing the books, and the partner may not necessarily enjoy it, but it's just a bit of a done thing. Have you come across that? How do you normally approach situations like that?
Oh, we come across that all the time. And, with all due respects to the partners, they're doing the best job that they know how to do. And, I think sometimes a bit of pressure is put on them because it's just like, I mean, let's face it, at the start of setting up a business, there's not enough cash flow for a bookkeeper, or to outsource other types of services. But I think what does inevitably happen, and I've seen this happen time and time again, is they do their very best, but because they're not across the changes to the legislation and to the GST and to ATO compliance, often what happens is they end up in a mess. And what we do, we offer a service, what we call our rescue service, where we provide a complimentary health review to anybody for of their Xero or their My accounting file. And then we identify any issues, provide them with a report identifying any issues, and then after that we give them a list of recommendations and what we think it will take to actually get their file back on track. And usually that's about 10 hours per financial year, from our experience. So then we have to go back and get their last tax returns and try and map out, because some accountants don't enter the journal entries and things like this. So we have to start putting their file back together. And once their file's back together, we then offer them full service bookkeeping where they don't have to worry about it again. If they do like the bookkeeping, and we offer them training so that we can actually help them understand how to do it so they don't cause the mess again. And we also offer a shared service. So a shared service allows our clients to do the bookkeeping. We check their file once a month just to make sure they're on track. And then we check that their super's paid and lodge their BAS for them. So they're not falling behind in any of the ATO compliance, but they're doing the majority of the work themselves.
Excellent. That's good. So it's a matter of finding the right structure to suit the client that you're working with.
That's it. And a lot of the mums and wives and partners, they don't really want to be doing it. They just don't have a choice. So, and then they feel quite deflated that they didn't know how to do it. And we're just like, no, you're doing the best you can. And we're just here to support you in whatever role that is.
It's good. People can know that there's an alternative.
Yes, there is. And it's not that expensive to have a shared type service.
You touched on it before that there's potential for some rough times ahead with what's happening with the economy, and the construction boom is maybe starting to slow down a little bit. So any thoughts on some of the pitfalls that you're seeing for this type of situation in the economy, and how tradie businesses can maybe avoid them?
Look, I think by staying on top of their invoicing is probably one big thing, because that's probably the most common issue that I have with our tradie clients. And, they can see their money's kind of running out, and I'll say, well, where are the invoices? Oh, yeah, I haven't done them yet. Okay, are they sitting in ServiceMate? Do we need to push them across? Like, where are they? What's happening with them? So I think chasing up on invoices is probably the best thing for them. Is the longer they get out of date, overdue, the harder it is to chase. So I think that, and then just also maybe have a look at, their suppliers. Like, maybe they can change their terms around a little bit. Maybe they can get a better discount because now they've got accounting software. They can see how much they're actually spending with that supplier. Maybe they can have a chat to them. And also one thing that we're really big on is saving for any of the ATO debt, for BASs, PAYG, super. I think what happens is people see, like tradies see their bank account, and unfortunately all the money in the bank account isn't for them. Some of it's already promised to the ATO, some of it's already promised to their employees. So we're very big on moving money out at the end of each week into a different savings bucket. And since COVID, we've actually moved to, which I was very happy to see the ATOs introducing in a couple of years, to payday super. So we've been doing that for over a year now. So when we came out of COVID, we really recognised that our clients struggled to pay their, their super through that period. So we do it on the same day we process their wages, we're processing super.
That's an excellent strategy.
Just helps with cash flow, and it helps them not get themselves into a situation where they're going to have a debt with the ATO. And also now with super, there's the whole, directors' penalties and very harsh penalties for unpaid super.
With all the rising costs that we're dealing with, rising living costs and interest rates and everything, you touched on it there of kind of directors' penalties and things. What's the situation with the lodgement penalty amnesty program that's coming up?
Yeah. So how cool is this? So this is actually a really good initiative by the government. So that was handed down in the recent May budget. So basically it's an amnesty for lodgement penalty amnesty. So for any BASs, income tax and fringe benefits tax that were due from the 1st of December 2019 to the 28th of February 2022, so any lodgements that were due in that time, the ATO are going to remit any penalty, value to lodge penalties. So to give you an idea what that might look like, I have had a client, a rescue client, come on board, and they hadn't lodged a BAS for 4 years. And what their previous bookkeeper had done was set them up for a monthly IAS. So they didn't just have a quarterly BAS, they had a monthly IAS to lodge as well. They actually didn't take wages. So the director of the company wasn't actually processing any wages. So those IASs, they shouldn't have been set up for that in the first place, but they should have all been nil. And anyway, once we went and lodged, they were hit with $54,000 in failure to lodge penalties and interest. And that's because they had 48 and they were $1,110 fine on every single one of them. So that was really tough for them. Now, in previous to the amnesty, the ATO would have required you to pay the $54,000 as part of a debt payment. And then once you'd paid it in full, then they would remit. But how's a small business going to come up with that? Like, that's not going to work. So, or it's going to take them a very long time to pay that off. So, so with this new amnesty, anybody that has any outstanding lodgements, I'd recommend that you get in touch with your accountant or your bookkeeper and have a chat. And if you get them lodged between the 1st of June and the 31st of December this year, your late lodgement penalties will be waived.
Excellent. That's a very good motivator for people to get their house in order, get things cleaned up.
That's it. And look, we usually have great success with the ATO anyway. I think it's about communicating with them. And I think as long as you're upfront with them and you're communicating, most of the time we can have interest remitted and failure to lodge penalties remitted. But they are getting tougher because times are getting tough. So.
Yeah, I've found the worst thing you can do is take the ostrich approach and stick your head in the sand, because you do that, then they come down on you like a ton of bricks. But you communicate with them about your situation and what's going on and how you can get through it, then they're more than happy to help out. But you're right, yeah, there's a lot of talk about them getting a little bit more strict with what's going on.
Oh, they're very strict. They're a lot strict. I'm getting calls now when a client hasn't paid their last BAS like a week over the date. And it's like, wow, that never happened.
Okay, awesome. Well, there's some fantastic tips there, Karen. Anything else? Anything in closing that you can think of that you wanna mention?
I think sometimes people feel a little bit overwhelmed as well. They may have got themselves in a bit of a hole and they just can't see their way out. Everything is fixable. You know, we can help with, all of those, getting you up to date. And yes, it may be overwhelming that, you're going to have a debt there, but we can talk to the ATO on your behalf. Everything is fixable. The ATO want to work with you. They don't want to see your business go out of business. They don't want you to fail. So, if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed or you're feeling like you're in a bit of a hole, the new year is a great way to get back on track.
Going back to what we started the discussion about, it's about making a plan. So get it all sorted, get it all on the table, and then make a plan on how to get it cleaned up. Or if you're in a better position, it's how do we progress for the year. So it goes back to those first tips that we discussed.
Yeah, it does.
Awesome. Thanks, Karen. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Absolute pleasure. Great to talk to you.